different, just different things. Which obviously you and I have had that conversation before.
Yeah.
So it's just just trying to we're all just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm right there with you, man, when it comes to like, can you bring 25 people? I, nah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe, but like, I couldn't guarantee 25 people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. It's like I
not
know
really.
25 people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like, if I rented a bus and I was like, I'm bringing all of you, maybe I might be able to make that happen. But I probably would only have 24 because somebody would flake at least.
Right.
So,
Right. And it's like I'd rather be upfront and tell you like no, like I can't, than
yeah.
do what some people do, like especially like the pay to play ones. Not saying Icebaka, shout out to Icebaka, by the way. I know we were talking off camera, but
Hmm.
shout out to Icebaka in Connecticut. But if it's one of those pay to plays, and you have people that'll just buy up to 25 and not even bring anybody, and then they just show up, and it's like, dude, like what was the point? Like you literally just bought on. You might as well have just found a tour to go on,
Yeah.
save your money and find a tour to buy on, instead of just buying tickets for nobody to show up. It just
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't, unless I can guarantee something, I'm right there with you. Like, just being upfront. I'm not really with the whole, like, yeah, man. Oh, I could definitely bring 25 people. No, like, if I don't think I could do it, I'm not going to tell you I can do it. I'm,
especially when you roll up and it's just you. Like
yeah,
it's a
yeah, like,
bad look.
yeah, like, that's the thing is like, would you rather be upfront and honest and, know what the opportunity consists of, when you reach out next time? Or would you rather just sit there and be like, yeah, I can do it, and then make a bad impression and lose that opportunity in the future, possibly? You know what I mean?
It makes perfect sense.
I just feel like honesty is always the best policy. Hey, what's up, Richard? I don't. We
Oh,
got
word
people
up, word
coming
up.
in. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
So let's kick this thing off. So what's going on, y'all? This is Jay Faith. Welcome to Right Minds Wednesdays. Appreciate all of y'all being here. Make sure you subscribe. Instagram. Let's see, what do we got? Instagram, YouTube. We are live right now, and we have officially kicked off as well. We are on Apple Podcasts,
Hmm.
SoundCloud, as well as Spotify. So if you missed this episode and you're tuning in now on one of those, thanks for tuning in. This is super dope. We're glad to be able to extend all those things out to
Hmm.
those platforms. Shout out to Mike from Turntable Teachers for helping me set all of that up. That was super huge, and I really appreciate it. So shout out to Turntable Teachers as well. Make sure you check out their podcast as well, an affiliate of Right Mind Wednesdays. So we appreciate them for all that they do for us. But today we are here with the man, the myth, the legend, Mo Flow. How you feeling, man?
What up? Good, man. I'm good. I'm above ground, so
Hey,
you know,
man.
can't really complain too much. And even if I did, no one would want to hear it anyways. So
That's true. That's true. I'm not gonna listen. You're gonna have to put it in a rap or something for me to have to listen to
that's how it is.
it.
I
That's
get
just
you.
part of the course.
How you
That's just
doing,
part
man?
of the
How you
course.
feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty. Like kind of the same as you, man. I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm alive. Is life perfect? No, but
Hmm.
it could always be worse. And I'm just here, just trying to do one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, and just enjoy it, make it the best that I possibly can.
Hmm. Hell yeah. That's
So
all we
we
can do, man.
hmm So let's get into this, man. So like I've known you for a little bit, but like
Hmm.
you've like recently, kind of like recently, I say recently, but I use it loosely. Like recently started in like hip hop. What has that like been like? Like can you tell
So,
me like more about that? Because like I would like to know
all
the
right.
story of
So
MoFlo, kind of the origin story.
that's fair. Yeah. All right. Well, I haven't really thought about this in a while. um, so I've actually been writing for how old am I now? Let's see, 28.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm 28. So I've been writing for. I mean, I've been writing poetry probably for like I guess almost 20 years. Um, but then
See, I feel like poetry, not to cut you off, but I feel like poetry is always like the Kickstarter. Like
yeah,
uh Red X Lion, who I don't know if he's still here, but like he said the same thing. I did poetry when I first started. Like
yeah,
it's like the fundamental basis that we as artists just like dive into at first. It's weird.
yeah. No, man. Well, mine was so I've been so not anymore. So I got to watch how I word that. I was in therapy at a very young age. So at like 7 years old, I started going to therapy for a couple different things. And that was, that was one of the things that my therapist had eventually been like, hey,
Hmm.
maybe you should try this, try and express yourself, with poetry. So I was like, okay, I gave it a shot. I mean, I'm, 7, 8, whatever it was, you know what I mean? And like, I can't really write like that, but whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, and then from there, like, it wasn't really hip hop for a while because I was young. I didn't really have like a taste in music per se. I just heard
Hmm.
whatever was played around me by whomever, Alanis Morissette by my mom, whatever, Metallica,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. And, but then I hit like 11, 12.
It looks like your Wi-Fi name or password has changed.
Oh,
To update
thanks.
your Wi-Fi information,
Can you
Thank
hear
you.
that?
simply
Appreciate
attach
that.
the app.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Alexa. We appreciate
that's,
that.
that's great. Oh, now the dogs are going. That's awesome. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, I was like 11, 12. Me and a homie that I'd known since kindergarten he ended up, I found out where I was living. He lived right down the street. I hadn't seen him for years. I knew him since kindergarten. So we linked up and we started just messing around. You know what I mean? He wrote poetry. I wrote poetry. We started to kind of hear, Eminem and Lil Wayne and all that at the time. You know what I mean? And we were
Yep.
like, okay, yeah, we can do this. You know what I mean? 12 years old, we got this. You know what I mean? So he'd bring over like his karaoke machine. You can plug microphones in and put like a
Hmm.
tape in there and record it with. So I'd like we download beats on LimeWire. You know what I mean? We like we'd
Yeah.
like lose yourself or like yeah, right. You know what I mean? Hey, it was all for no
Purchased
profit.
legally.
Yo, oh man, the LimeWire days, bro. But yeah, so we burn them on CD, we put them in a boombox, and we play the CD. We'd have one microphone up against the boombox playing the beat, and then yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and then we would just pass the other microphone back and forth, and would just like freestyle and try not to cuss as little kids in my mom's house, and like we'd record it on these little like Polaroid tapes or whatever it may be,
Hmm.
and we play them back like yo, we had a banger, man. It was called Grasshoppers Hopping in the Grass, dude. Like, yo,
Oh no.
I'm telling you, yo, I'm telling you, man. I went by wow, what did I go by? Low key,
Okay.
Lowkey back in the day. I had
Okay.
a like custom made hat. I thought it was cool as shit. You know what I mean? um,
Word. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, but and then from there, just kind of grew, man. I just started to just have a lot of fun with it, and it never stopped. So I've been writing, like I said, for 16 ish, 17 years, something like that, musically.
Hmm.
But like trying to chase this professionally, I would say on a serious note, 3, 4 years. I always said I was doing it professionally, but I had my priorities all, out of whack. in regards to following my own path. I was distracted by life and certain things and just making up excuses and this and that. And then I went through a breakup, and I was like, what am I doing? And then 6 to 8 months later, I met you. um and we're just
Word. Okay.
yeah, so and we're just about here now. So it's been like, I want to say 2.5, 3 years that I've been really trying to like make up for lost time in a way. You know what I mean? So it's been a journey. I love those boombox days though, man. I'm not gonna lie. Some
Yeah,
days I
you can't
uh
forget those, man. Like
nah.
my first recordings was on a garage band microphone. Not
Yep.
excuse me, a rock band microphone. So the microphone that you got from the game of Rock Band,
Yeah.
we plugged
Oh,
it
all
into
right.
the computer and we
Okay.
used GarageBand, and that's how we recorded my
Hey,
first
that
song.
see, I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know you could do that.
Mhm. Yep,
Man,
we
see,
figured it out. I don't know how,
yeah,
but we figured.
that's awesome, man. No, that's awesome. Hey, appreciate that, man. Like I
Yes,
said,
sir. Yes,
I
sir.
don't know if I said this on or off camera, but honesty is always the best policy, man. That's how I feel about life. Unless you're my mama asking the wrong questions or the police doing the same thing. you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Fact. Yes, sir.
But
Facts.
that's just what it is, man. That's honestly, I learned a lot about being more honest with the whole uh, breakup that I mentioned as well. I'm actually in a very amazing
That'll do it.
relationship now. You know what I mean? So because all bad things lead to a good eventually. You know what I mean? But that particular breakup, the whole, even like when I was single, like that's what it was. It was after the breakup. It was the being single part afterwards that just really like sparked this huge growth in me. Like, what have I been doing with my whole life? You know what I
Mm,
mean? Not just the music, and in turn with that, it came to a point where like like he says up there, can't blame the world. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
that's a bit long winded with it, but that's kind of how I am, unfortunately.
No, you're good, man. That's what we came to hear, man. Yeah, it's like there's so many things, and one of the things that I've just learned is like even in situations, you always have to reflect on what it is that you're doing in that situation, because
Mhm.
that could also just be the deterrent of how the situation kind of manifests itself and the outcome of what it is. It's like how are at the end of the day, like think about like what you're doing, and if you're doing everything possible to make it right, then
Mm.
obviously like you can kind of push. I wouldn't say push the blame on somebody else, but
Mhm.
it's less, obviously less on you. But a lot of people just like, you get into a situation and they're like, you did this and you did this and you did this, but it's like, dude, like, but how did you handle that? And like
Mhm.
maybe like the way you responded to that situation caused that person to do that, and then
Yeah.
now you're in a downward spiral and in the place that you're in now instead of maybe somewhere else.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's really what it is. Like, because I notice myself, like I have some triggers. If there's like a little bit of an argument going on, someone does a certain thing, I react a certain way. It just is. It's
Hmm.
human nature. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like having the knowledge and the understanding of that, you know, sometimes helps, be able to, like you said, take that step back and be like, you know, should I handle this way or should I not? You know what I mean? It's all about growth, man.
Yes. It's like some things you just learn, like, is it really worth my time? Is it really worth me getting aggravated over for the next however long time frame? Or is it just like really better off me just suck it up and just keep it moving and,
Yeah,
you know, not act like it didn't happen, but
yeah.
just not give attention to it to fuel the fire.
Well, exactly. You know, sometimes it's unnecessary. You know, that's why I'm not all on that whole like social media drama. Here's my opinion. Like that, you know,
Yeah,
you know what I
it's a
mean?
lot.
Like
It's a lot.
yeah, like even when people like I've had people try, you know what I mean, per se, and like come at me about things, and even still, like I don't approach it like a lot of other people. It's not a back and forth to me. It's not a war to me. It's okay. Why do you feel this way? You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like like your feelings are noted. That's fine. You're allowed to have them. I'm not mad about that. But like, why? I just want to understand. You know, and that's really all it is, man. You know, just
yeah,
understanding, having a little bit of compassion. You know, I never know what someone else is going through. You know what I mean?
exactly,
So
exactly. Like you know, as you know, again, you know, we've said this multiple times, you know, here, on other episodes of Right Mind, but
yeah.
you know, it's so important. And I feel like it needs to be said. Is just like people just assume that because you know we're in the music industry, or even like those that are more successful than we are, that the issues just magically disappear. Like I was listening to an interview with Lotto. I don't know if you're familiar with her. um
I don't think so. No.
she she was even saying, she's like, yo, like she's like 23. She was on like a Dupree show on Netflix and ended up winning, and
Okay.
then she got a contract, and then from there obviously kind of built up from there. But and
Mhm.
she's kind of blowing up, making a name for herself. But she was even talking in the interview, and she was just like, nah, man, like these people got me all messed up. Like, you think that like our life, money shows up and then everything is all hunky dory. She's like, nah, we still go through stuff. Like, we
Mhm.
just don't show you. We just don't show you because
Yeah.
we you have social media to hide behind, or we just don't feel like you need to know everything that is going on in my life, which is absolutely and totally fair.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what it is for me, man. Like a lot of people, I'll catch flack for not being super active on social media a lot, like interactive, I guess you can say, on social media a lot. And it's not anything against anybody. It's just I don't get sucked into that. You know, that fake, you know, that facade that
Hmm.
the social media, you know, brings to the people. I make my post, I'm like, hey, this is really happening. I'm dropping a new single. Check it out. Boom. And then I'm gone. I'm not like I very rarely make other posts unless they're like an anniversary or something like that. I'm not it's not
Hmm.
always like that because it's I'm not really a super like I'm open. If somebody asks me a question about me, I'll answer. I have no issue with that. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
like, I'm not just gonna put it out there. Yeah, you know,
Right, right.
it's just yeah, I'm kind of a private person. You know what I mean when it comes to things of that nature, and a lot of things get misconstrued when they get uploaded on the internet or
All the time.
anything. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I know me. I'll read a text message or something, right? And I'll be like, this mother, you know what I mean? But I'm reading it in the wrong tone of voice, type of deal.
Yeah.
I guess and in reality, like I'm catching this little bit of angst or whatever, and they were just joking or like they didn't mean it like that, or you know what I mean. So it's just I don't like to really get into that. That's why it takes me when I make a long post. It usually takes me like 45 minutes to an hour to type the whole thing because because I'm like, does this sound right? Is it worded okay? Are people gonna, you know what I mean? And so that's why I don't do it very often.
And that's a problem though. Like we're in such an age now, especially with social media, where, not to discredit anybody's emotions, or how they respond to things, but it seems like for a majority of the culture, we're in a culture that is like, you can't say anything without there being a response to it. Like, I can't just say, like, I love rainbows and unicorns, because then there's going to be 20 people, they're going to go, dude, why would you rainbows and unicorns, really,
Yeah,
bro? Like, come
yeah,
on, man. Like, it's all about, like dirt and mud. Like, why are you talking about rainbows and unicorns? Like, we're on the side of dirt and mud. Like,
yeah,
but like, who cares? Like,
yeah.
who cares?
No,
But
yeah,
again, on the on the flip side of the coin, obviously, if you're like attacking people and saying derogatory things, obviously you're gonna get some type of a rise, which you should,
yeah,
in the
yeah,
sense of people should clap back at you and say that's not cool, like please stop.
yeah,
But
yeah. Of course.
it's like, but even then, like you can just the way we have to be so cautious nowadays of how we word things, and because people just love to
Blown out of
twist it
proportion.
and can take it I can just take it like crazy, and like
Hmm.
you said with the text message or a message from somebody, you don't know the tone that somebody is using when texting that out, unless it's in like caps and
Yeah,
exclamation points and f this and all this
yeah,
other stuff, and
yeah.
you can
Exactly.
tell. But if it's just like a regular regular dialogue type of thing, like you don't
Yeah.
know what the how the person is feeling when they're typing this out. I mean, you could probably
Hmm.
gauge, but
Yeah.
again, you still don't know the full effect. And we've I know I've been there. I've typed out an entire message angry, and then as soon as I type it out, like I'm cool, and then I send it, and I'm like, maybe probably shouldn't have sent that.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't
Like,
need to send it.
oh,
I just had to write it down. I just had to write it down.
yeah,
But
yeah. I do that sometimes. I like write the whole thing out, and then just delete it. I'm like, all right,
hmm
all of that was actually unnecessary. I don't need to send that. Like after just reading it, rereading it before I send it out or something. I'm like, no, all of that sounds completely, off the rails. I'm good. Let's just back that up. Hit
hmm
them with an okay and call it a day. Like,
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about before with like just the responses to things, how we respond. Like I catch myself doing it a lot more now. It's just like I'll get a text from somebody or whatever, and like I'll type it out, and then I'm like I'm reading it, and then I'm like, so if I send this, like where is this conversation gonna go?
hmm.
Because and do I want to go there? Is that the ticket that I want to purchase to go on this crazy train of
Yeah.
where this could possibly go,
Oh,
or do I just hit him with the okay and all right, we out? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
what's my option here?
Literally. Oh, man, it's like that sometimes, though. That's how it is sometimes, man.
Sometimes you just got to hit him with the okay and
You
just keep it
got
moving.
You're like, all right, bro, see ya. like,
Yeah.
like, because I don't down anybody for their opinion.
Mm-mm.
That's really what it is. Like, I may not agree with it. I've got friends that have ideals and stuff that I don't agree with at all, but we can
Okay.
still kick it and have that conversation and walk away and still be
100%.
friends. You know what I mean?
100%.
But then I have people that, on the other hand, I know I can't talk about certain things with. You know what I
hmm
mean? And especially at work, I try to avoid like any. I mean, I don't really follow politics. Um, not political at all. I really could care less. That's me. Everybody argues with me. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but that's just as me. Aliens run the government, and that's cool. You know, and
Right.
that's how it is, and nobody wants to talk about it after that, and that's fine because I'll just be over there talking to myself about it, but it's I'm fine with people having different opinions, and that's why I don't fit in with the social media norm like we were talking about because I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'll laugh at this meme and then I'll laugh at a meme that says something directed towards the complete opposite opinion, but they're both funny. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I'm like it is what it is. I'm
Like
not gonna
I
slap
can't.
people.
It's like I can't laugh now. Like I can't laugh now. Like
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. It's I don't literally. You gotta pay to laugh, man. You didn't know,
hmm It's
bro? I'd
it's
be
unfortunate.
broker than I am, man. If I had to pay to laugh, I'd be laughing at everything, bro. I'm laughing right now.
Seriously. Exactly. It's
Well,
yeah, I don't understand social media anymore. So like I've even taken a step back because because it was always like, oh, you got to post every day, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to interact. I'm like, dude, like this is exhausting, and also too like that's not the I disagree with the fact, especially in the music industry, of having to have a following
mm,
on social media as an interpretation of how successful you're going to be.
yep. Seriously.
In a sense, because again, like you look at the old school, you look at the 90s, you look at the early 2000s before social media, artists weren't putting up posts going, "Hey, come check me out over here."
Mm-hmm.
They showed up and did their thing at the shows that they got. They
Mm-hmm.
went to recording studios. They said, and they talked to people. They built connections with actual people. They made phone calls. It wasn't just through posts on a social media platform. So it's like, why do I have to, build up a following of imaginary people that couldn't care less about what I posted, but they just are here for the ride and type of thing. Like, why? What is the effort and what is the necessity to make it deem that my success is based on how many followers I have, or for you to even consider me for anything based on the followers that I have? Like, look at what I can bring to the table first. Like, see what my
Yeah,
abilities
that's
are,
what I'm saying.
and then let's go from there. It's just like a job
Mm-hmm.
application.
Yep.
When you go for a job, they're not like, "Oh, how many followers do you have? We want to make sure that, people are checking in on you." And no,
Right.
they're like, "No, what skills do you have that can help our business out and make it better?" Well, if you feel like my music is going to push your company and you being music people that are in the business of music, who
Mm.
I would hope should know music,
Yeah.
can tell if my
Hopefully.
music, hopefully, you should be able to tell if my music is, one, good for your business, and
Mm-hmm.
two, something that can be profitable for your
Mm-hmm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
If not, it's back to the drawing board for me, build up my skills, and then I'll come apply again.
Yeah. Well, it's really
But it's
like
not like that.
no. Yeah. Well, like you're saying, like I like to think of myself as a business. You know, some people would disagree with that. I don't. So if you're reaching out to another business, a venue, like you're saying, then it's literally like, hey, do you deem my business worthy of working together? But like, if you were just an actual building, like an actual business, they wouldn't ask you about followers. It would be the other way
Mm-hmm.
around. It's just because we're a solo individual trying to brand ourselves that they're like, no, because they're not looking at it like us, unfortunately. But like me
Mm-hmm.
myself, I try and conduct everything I do as a musician, as an artist, as a business, and so like things like that, it like you said, the numbers, like why does it actually matter? Basically.
Yeah.
In with my type of mindset, because I just see myself as, you know, that other brewery over there that you just put on your tap line in your bar who wants to work together. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That you may not have checked their, how many followers does that brewery have? They might not even have social media because some don't. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like how does that why is it a little different? It's that's just my way of thinking.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at legends, like I'm talking legends,
Mm,
staples in the hip hop community. I'm not talking about, people that are popping now,
mm,
making, that are, obviously in the highlights of music creation. If you look at the staples, the people
mhm,
that, like, once you filter out everything that's here, that is like, yeah, those people.
mm,
uh those are the people that they knew somebody and they said, I'm going to take a chance on you because you have something for me to that
Yeah,
like there's something there and we need to do something about it.
the
Like
roots of
nowadays,
hip
it's
hop
just
used
like,
to
well,
happen in parks, man. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, that's how, like, parks and little barbecues and little festivals. It wasn't like, it wasn't like, oh, he's got 3,000 followers, let's check him out. Like,
mhm.
no, it was like, oh, I heard this little snippet. Let's, next time I hear his name, I'm gonna go check it out, and then from there they have a conversation, they chop it up, and it just is something that grows. And like, I know a lot of people argue it's easier nowadays, but I don't know. I could go either way, really. I don't know if it's easier or
Yeah,
more difficult with the the tools we have at our disposal right now. It's could go either way for me, man.
yeah, yeah. It's hard because like you said, it's a two-headed coin because on the one side you're able to create, you're able to make music, you're able to put it out, you're able to get it to everybody, any and everybody through your phone, millions of people, right in the palm of your hand. But at the same time, you also have millions of other people who are trying to do the exact same thing. Whereas again, back in the 90s, back in the 2000s, you had there was no social media, so you didn't know who was out there grinding unless they were really grinding
Hmm.
and made a name for themselves by popping up at shows and
Yep.
building a buzz and showing up and doing the work and getting on tours. And then they came to your city and you were like, yo, this dude's dope, like, and they
Hmm.
you make it into the news or whatever, and that's how word spreads. But now it's just like, dude, I can literally stay in this room for 2 months, put out an album, launch it, and do everything without ever leaving this room, which would be
Hmm.
disgusting, but
But it's
you
possible.
know but it's literally possible. I could literally
Yeah.
do all of that. I could keep it even simpler. I could literally start a YouTube channel sitting right here and
Hmm.
never. I could just do Right Mind from right here and never leave, and
Hmm.
I could hopefully build it successfully. But you know what I'm saying? Like I could never interact with another person in a physical form
Yeah.
ever if I wanted
Literally.
to, because we have the technology that we have, and it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
I would not want to do that, but
I mean, it's useful to an extent. I think it's overused. A lot of different tools, man, are all overused. Is the thing, and that's where, like, doing the footwork and being on the grind kind of lost its way almost. Like, or its meaning to people, because like it is so easily accessible now. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you could go 6 or 7 different ways and find some music, or you can make a 30-second clip. I can't talk apparently. 30-second clip for like TikTok that's just super catchy and blow with no substance or legacy, like this dude's saying. See, I'm not used to the reversal.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like
yeah,
Richard
yeah.
here is saying, is that Red X Lion?
Yes, sir.
All
Red
right, all
X,
right.
what
What
up?
up, Red X Lion? Oh man, I'm like trying to figure it out. I thought you said that earlier, but yeah, like he said, man, it's definitely easier to blow with no substance or legacy now. Like, you just gotta have 30 seconds that are super catchy, and have some girl do makeup with that song on TikTok, and boom, you know what I mean? Like,
That's it.
you're
That's
opening
it.
for whoever the hell it is, and you
Hmm.
blew up, and it just doesn't. I don't know, man. It's just wild to me. But then again, on the other coin, a lot of these people blow up to try and get on, a label or signed, and I even see a lot of these big name artists, like, they'll say things like, I've been sitting on work for a while, but like my contract states I can't release music till such and such, or I don't, you know what I mean? I just saw something with like Ritz. He was saying he doesn't get paid off his YouTube videos when he signed to the label and stuff like that, even though they had millions of views beforehand. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
so it's this weird thing, man, where like the old days would be nice to have again, but in this day and age, the old days involved a label. So like in this day and age, everybody would be getting screwed still. So it's really there's no way to win. You know what I mean?
Right.
Other than just to keep plucking away, and just hoping for the best in a super congested, you know, part of music, I guess you could say.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
feel like, and not to say that there weren't labels in the 90s well, using 90s and 2000s as an example,
Yeah.
that there weren't labels that, didn't screw you over, but I feel like they were more apt to take a chance on you, whereas now it's all about the dollar sign and the figures and and
Exactly.
and all, because artists nowadays that are on a label are so disposable because there are so many more artists and
Hmm.
ways for artists to get themselves out there. So it's like, oh well, like, why am I going to put the effort into you, because I can just find the next you on the next block, like,
Yeah.
you know it's like,
Exactly.
so it's like,
Yeah.
why should I put my effort into artist development? And you know I know they do marketing and promo and stuff, but like, develop the artists, make them better, build up their longevity, like they used to, and
Hmm.
but now it's just like, I'll just go on social media and look for the next person that's blowing
Yeah,
up. And it's like,
man.
I like social media as the access to, again, to be able to get your music out there, but I don't
Mhm.
feel like it should be the baseline of you being successful.
Yeah. Yeah. So what she says that they were willing to build artists from scratch. Now you need a following to get their attention, and their job is to make your following expand by tenfold. Yo, that's
Hmm.
that's actually what I was just gonna say too. Was that like they may have still been screwing artists over back then, but a lot of it was definitely, they were looking for talent though. They wanted to find the artists to put out there. So they wanted them to keep putting music out and
Hmm.
keep doing this and be consistent. Whereas now, like he says, they're like, no, we know you have 5 albums ready to go and they're all fantastic, but we're gonna release one song and that's it. And if you
Hmm.
release any of it, your contract is null and void. We'll buy you a car and a couple rings, and that's cool, or whatever. You know what I mean? And we'll make you look flashy, but you have to post it up, and you got to do this, and like, and they're just trying to get you following up even more. When, like, why does that even matter? Having a following, we're right back there again, full circle. Why does it even matter? You know what I mean? Like, if you
Yeah.
really only
Or
need, what do they say, 100? What do they say, 100 or 1,000 uh, truly loyal fans. One, I can't remember which it is.
I think it's like a
And
thousand.
yeah, and you'll be successful. But yet you need 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Hmm.
I mean, I get it. Not everybody's going to see your post. Not everybody's going to interact. Yada yada yada. But 9,000 of them aren't going to react.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just I'm not a follower. I don't have that sheeple mindset, so it's hard for me to grasp. you know and it sucks because like I used to kind of want to be on a label. What young rapper didn't? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna sign to
Yeah.
Def Jam, you know what I mean? Like, or
Yeah.
Strange Music, whatever it might be, you know what I'm saying? Or Aftermath, you know what I'm saying? Everybody.
Hmm.
But like, growing up, man, I don't, and watching everything unfold and like being really in tune with a lot of these things, like, independence the way to go. you know
If you do it right. Yeah.
yeah, and that's, but that, exactly, and that's the trouble, is finding the equation, I guess you could say, to like,
Yeah.
to do it right. And I think everybody's got a slightly different equation, but it's a process trying to figure that out. That's how I feel. It's been a
Yeah,
journey,
man.
man.
For sure. Because I mean, like, you've done, like, you obviously rap, but then like you've also picked up the beat making too. So that's like another, like, monster in itself.
Yeah,
you
making
know. And
beats, the mixing and mastering, that whole part of it too is like uh, it's a whole nother
what
animal.
what's that been like for you? Because like me, like, mixing and mastering is something that I've been like steadily trying to build myself up on. But like you seem like obviously like you've put out music of your own that has been mixed and mastered, to where you feel comfortable obviously to release it. So like,
Mhm.
what has that process been of like being like, nah, like I want to do this myself?
So honestly, I've always struggled with money, personally. Uh, no
It
exact
feels
reason as to why. It just, it is what it is,
it
And
feels it feels
so basically, once I got my little studio set up and everything, uh, I released a couple projects that were mixed and mastered by other people, and I didn't necessarily hate the quality or anything like that. It was just, I had to pay for it, and I had to wait for it, and I didn't like doing either one of those things. So I was like, well, I have the microphone, I have the software, thanks to social media on the other side of the coin, I'm able to go and, find the things on the internet and figure out, little things that I need to know to try and do that. And so really it was just like I said, when I started really chasing this music thing heavily, I didn't want to wait anymore. So
mm,
when I ship music out to be mixed and mastered by other people, even if I'm not really technically waiting that long in comparison to like you know a long time in engineer standards, I still am
right.
like, all right, let's go. How's that track going? How's the album? How's this? How's that? And instead now I don't have to bother anybody and be annoying, and I can just sit down and I can be like, all right, where's the track going? Looking in the mirror, like you got to sit down and mix that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just be mad at myself for slacking on my end. But it's been fun, man. I mean, it's been a process for sure. I love music, so it's like being able to create something and have it sound like meh because it's raw. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then
yeah, for sure.
just kind of be able to tweak things here and there and kind of know a little bit of what you're listening for as far as frequencies and things like that is cool. I definitely listen to like other people's production and things like that a lot differently now than I did, say a year and a half
Facts.
ago. Yeah, I hear different sounds that I wouldn't have heard before. You know, just little things for sure. But it's been real fun, man. And I love making beats. I mean, I get frustrated for sure as when I mix and master because like it is a process. It's not difficult. It's just a process sometimes, or
It's another creative thing,
yeah, man. I'm
that you gotta.
like I love playing my drums out, but then like, I'll miss the snare or I'll do something and like just won't sound right. And then I gotta retry it again and then I gotta redo it again or with your like vocals or whatever. Same thing. I'll
Mhm.
be like, all right, yeah, okay, I play my car because I always this is the super fun part of mixing and mastering is the hundreds of mixes that you have that you put on your phone to fill up your phone so it barely even opens. And then you play it through your phone, you listen to it through your phone, you play it through the speakers on the in the studio, you play it in some headphones, you play it in the car. My number one is usually the car. If it sounds good in the car, it's decent. That's where a majority of people listen to music. Um,
Right.
but like I'll go out in the car and I'll after I have like the mix done and I'll be on the master process and I'll go out in the car and I'm like, all right, here we go. The mix was fantastic, easy peasy. Master was 3 clicks, no big deal. Let's go. Press play in the car and it's just like just straight doo doo, man. And I'm like, oh, because I have crappy car speakers. So I'm like, if it sounds good on my car speakers, I know it'll sound good in
It's
the good system. So that's why I'm like, people are like, oh, your car. I'm like, yeah, it's whatever, man. It's a blessing in disguise. I promise you. Um, so and then I'll go back and I'll come back in and I'll like, all right, let's tweak this. All right, it was a little loud. I'm gonna take off some low end. All right, I'll mix it down again. I'll go back out in my car. All right, plug it in again. I turned it down too much. Now it's just like everything's muffled, and I'm like, what the
Mm-hmm.
hell? All right, back downstairs. So it can be a process, man. But in
Mm-hmm.
the end, once you reach that like final product, like you said on your Sunday shout outs, like once you reach that final product, man, it's just like, oh, okay, all right, sounds good. That's awesome, worth it. You know what I mean? Like I can't
Yeah.
wait now that it's done. It's like I can't wait, and I hope I never have to go through that again. But like, um, but it's been a process, man. Because like for a while I was like, ooh, this sounds good. Too quiet. You know what I mean? So like did
Mm-hmm.
some more research, and then went back and so it's definitely been just little things here and there, even with the beat making, like things as small as like making sure your snare hits. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
not having them like, "Where's my snare?" You know what I mean? Like,
Where's
or
the snare
making
in my
sure,
headphone? I got
like,
no snare.
or even the kick, man. Like making sure that that kick hits just right, or that the bass is loud enough and has enough presence, but doesn't clip and destroy everything else that's going on. It's so many little things that you don't even think about until you dive
Mm-hmm.
into. But I don't regret it one bit, man.
Oh, 100%.
Knowledge is key. Is my opinion. you know.
No, for real, because like as you were saying that, like it was like little, like picking up those little things, like even just like something simple as like a fader, like a
Mhm.
fading at the end of something, like the drastic change, panning left and right, like the drastic change that it can have on a track. And like
Yeah.
I was just thinking, even as an artist, like I hope, and this is my own personal advice to any artist that is out there listening to this now or later. Definitely, even if you have no interest in being a producer or a sound engineer, learn what they do. And the
Hmm.
reason I say that is because ever since, and I'm speaking from my own personal experiences, and I'm sure that you can attest to this just as much, just
Yeah.
based off what you were just saying, is when you know what to look for, like that's where it starts to change. Because like as I was like diving into sound engineering for stuff that I'm gonna hopefully be doing soon,
Mhm.
I wanted to like just learn those things and learn how to set up the microphone, learn how to record people, learn how
Learn the terms.
how different how different things work exactly.
Mhm.
And as I started doing that, and then working with Mertz over at the Bridge Sound and Stage, shout out to Merch and all of them over there, but working with them and being like, what does that do? What is this? What is that? Why did you do that? What does this sound like? What is that? Like
Mhm.
learning that stuff. Like now when I listen to music, like you said, like you just hear things differently, and you're like before, I'll use like as an example, like, an ad lib, may have come in off.
Mhm.
And before I'd be like, oh, that sounds fire. But then like
Yep.
now I'm like, no, 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 no. That is off, and that
Yeah.
needs to be fixed, because if
Yeah.
not, it's the only thing that is going to stick out in that entire song. And I
Yep.
catch myself now when I'm hearing, mixes back, and it's not a shot at my engineer, but it's more on my side of the execution. It's like
Yeah.
I'm listening to the song, and I could listen to it 10 times, and
Mhm.
the only thing that is running into my brain is that thing that happened at 2:05
Mhm.
in that verse that just completely sounded off, and like it won't go away. It's just an annoying little gnat that just
Oh yeah.
stays there, and it's just like you can't shake it. And
Oh, I
so to
feel
any
that, man.
artists out there, So to any artists out there, like again, whether you want to dive into sound engineering or being a producer, like definitely just learn what they do, because it's only going to be beneficial to you in the sense of helping to improve how you execute your own stuff.
Yeah, well, and even as far as like how how to like talk to them and like when they're like, "Hey, what do you think of this mix?" You know what I mean? You can be like, "Oh, I think it sounds a little too bright," or you know what I mean, or "I think it sounds a little too, this on and because you know some of these terms, you can actually say something
Hmm.
without having to be like, "I don't really know how to explain this. It sounds like a rumble in like a kitten trapped in a box. I don't know. You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a bad thing to learn. I agree with you completely, man. Even just in the sense of like you said, just having the knowledge, to be able to understand better
To
as an
communicate it. Yeah.
yeah. So, and that was part of it too, was like, because like I said, I was working with other people and they'd say certain things and I'm like, can you explain that a little better? I don't I don't understand what you're saying to me right now. Like,
Hmm.
so,
Right.
you know, but same thing, man. There's definitely like, recording a song and there's just like that one thing that's just off and it's off and you just can't. So you're like, I gotta fix that. And it usually is an
Hmm.
ad lib too. You're right. 9 times out of 10, man, it's that one ad lib that's just like you just half a second too late, man. Like,
Yep.
it, um,
And it's like one of those things, like you try to almost convince yourself, which people that are listening, please don't do this. And I but like it's one of those things where you almost try to convince yourself, like, nah, it's okay. Like it'll be fine. Like
yep,
it's okay. Like
yeah,
no, no, they're not gonna notice. No one's gonna notice. But like at the end of the day, again, you just continue to listen to it and you're just like, no, no,
mm,
no, no,
yeah.
no.
We'll
Like
see.
Tracy Morgan and Cop Out when he's sitting in the car, just no, no, hell no, hell no, no,
Oh
no,
man.
no. That that that's just
Well,
that. But that's just
and
how
that's
you
the
have to
thing
be.
too, man. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying that's just how you have to be.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, and that's the thing too, man. It's like that's why. So a part of me, sometimes I'll have like songs that I sit on for a while, and sometimes I find that as a blessing, especially because I don't have to bother another engineer since I do it myself. Um, I find it as a blessing that like I'll sit on it for a while because I won't listen to it for a little while, and then I'll go back, and say like that ad lib was bugging me when I first recorded it and I was listening to it on the master and this and that, but then I listened to it a month and a half later or whatever it might be, and I don't even notice it. So
Mm,
sometimes it is like you notice something and it's in and it is small, but because it's your ears are fresh and you just did it and you know what you're listening for, and
mm-hmm.
and like you said, you keep focusing on it, it doesn't go away. So sometimes I feel like some of those times it might be okay, but because it's
I
still
feel you.
fresh and you're just like, every time you hear
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
then that's part of it too, because you do definitely get ear exhaustion, is what they call it.
The ear fatigue. Yeah, the
Yeah,
ear
ear
fatigue.
fatigue. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. See, I'm over here so
Same
confident.
difference. Same
Yeah,
difference. Yeah.
yeah, but and it's a real thing, man.
He said it with such confidence too. He was like, "Yeah, the ear tiredness,
Yeah, yeah,
the
exactly.
ear
Yeah, that's
exhaustion."
that's that's what they call it in the doctor's office. Oh my god. Yeah. um, no, but it's a real thing, man. Because even like I'll do it with beats.
It
I'll
is.
sit here, I'll be mixing a beat in my headphones because I live in one room at the moment. So if my lady's over there watching TV, I'm not gonna just be blaring my speakers over here and you know trying to bang away on my drums and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I have the
808
headphones.
kicking her in the head.
Yeah, yeah, and So I'll just be over here in my headphones for hours, and I'll be mixing or whatever a beat I just made, and obviously, so I made the beat, so I sat there for a little while to make the beat, so I hear it a million times, and the levels are all everywhere because it's not even mixed yet. Then I mix the beat, and then like I just start hearing, like, say I have this synth in there, so I was like wah wah wah, like for some reason the original sound will disappear completely from my brain, and it'll just
Mm-hmm.
be like this really annoying, loud pitched, like high pitched, type. And I'm like, why? What is? All right, I need to time to
Mm-hmm.
step away. I'm like, this doesn't even sound like the same beat to me anymore. I got to step away because it's definitely, I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm gonna stay in the studio all day long, and like that's cool, but take a lunch break, man. Something.
Yes.
you
Grab a
know,
sandwich. Do something.
I saw who posted it. It was a while ago. Somebody said they got in the studio with Eminem or something. I don't even remember where I saw this. I say a little while ago. It was probably like 10 years ago. But they got in the studio with Eminem or something, and he went into the studio at whatever time, and he left around lunchtime, and he took a lunch break,
Mm-hmm.
and then
He
he
treats
came
it like
back
a
in.
work day.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And a part of me feels like that's almost necessary, is to have like that um structure. You know what I mean? Have that structure of like,
Mm-hmm.
breaking it down, and try and actually schedule yourself. Like I said, treat yourself like a business. Schedule yourself out like you're your own employee. You know what I mean? And I mean, I
That's how
struggle
we.
with it sometimes for sure because everything's everywhere, and I work a regular job as well. So it's like, oh, I just got
Right.
home. It's 10:30. All right, well, I got to get my set list ready, and I got to make a banner, and oh yeah, I've been meaning to do this design, and you know,
Yep.
and so in that sense, it's a little difficult. But when I go to the
Yeah.
studio with Eight Bizza, shout out Eight Bizza, um, him and I do. We don't just sit there and work the entire time. You know what I mean? We might build, we might vibe, might come up with ideas, but we'll take a little time and we'll just kind of chill out. Like, all right, we just banged out two songs. The rough mix sounds good, sounds super cool. I like the effects. All right, let's take a second. Whatever, chill out, try and figure the rest out, and then we attack it again for a little bit. And it's just, and I think it works out nice. You know what I mean? I love working with A Bizza. Honestly, I'm hoping I get to see him this weekend. Actually, would be dope.
Word. Word. Word.
Yeah,
Yeah. You have to take those breaks. Like even when I go to see Mertz down at the bridge, like the first like 20 minutes is just us chopping shop and
yeah,
just chatting. Like
yeah,
he'll be like kind of in the background like setting stuff up, but like
yeah. That's how
we're
that's
just
how they
we're just
work, man.
we're just having a
Oh
we're
yeah,
just chatting it up. How's the kids doing? How's
yeah.
how's work? How's things,
Mhm.
whatever, and then it's like, all right, you ready? And then you're like, yeah, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get in it.
See, and I
It's
like
just
connections like that, man. Connections like that are I feel like they don't always happen. You know what I
mhm.
mean? It's like when you find a good barber or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same kind of concept. Like you just when you
Yes,
have that energy, it works out well. You know. Um,
it's perfect. And you need to find that. Like
yeah, for
artists in
sure.
general, like you need to
Yeah,
find
for
those find those connections.
yeah, definitely, man. Because those are really the people that are like those are the people that are gonna help you grow. Because clearly, if you guys just connect, then chances are you're on a similar wavelength. You know what I mean? And you're gonna end up building from there. You know,
Hmm.
that's my
For
opinion.
sure. No, it's the truth, man. It's the truth. Like we could spend hours just literally just talking about that one concept, just
That's
because
true.
it just the value and the value and importance of that. Like you could spend
100%.
hours.
Yeah, I mean, true. You could really you could go. you go deep, like in regards to just watching, like, the company you keep, man. That's really what it is.
100%.
You know, like I used to hang around with a lot of hoodlums. You know what I'm saying? I'd
Hmm.
be I'd be getting my ass in trouble. I don't do that anymore. you know.
Right. Like, what do you want now?
Yeah,
What do you want now, and what's the worth? What's the
e-
value in it?
exactly. I can't be a teenager forever, man.
Hmm.
You know.
As much as we'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, some days, yeah, some days, man. Woo,
Word
what are some of my long-term goals for music? Oh, geez. So I mean, I've always wanted to eventually get to a point where I could build my own small label per se, um, or even just like a collective of sorts to help other independent artists out. Not a label that screws over the artist, obviously, because if not, I might as well just cut the whole first half of this interview out the way. You know what I'm saying? Um,
right.
yeah, but I mean, like, I really just want to help spread love. I mean, my whole overall, I say image, but it's not really an image. Is just like, motivating people. Letting in a sense, in the kind of like a read between the lines kind of way, like like because I talk a lot of smack because I'm always having a good time and that's just kind of who I am. But like, I used to not really believe in myself at all. So my biggest thing is to really like help people believe in themselves, and for people that struggle with like mental health, like I have a lot in my life, also be able to find a way to push through that, even if they have to do it themselves, because it's kind of how I had to. So I'm like a product of like what I preach. But my overall goal is definitely to help people and just keep spreading music. you know I'd like to travel the world with it. Would be a beautiful thing. um, and definitely like the cheapest way for me to travel the world. uh, uh,
Mm.
just kind of keep spreading it along, man, and keep growing. I'm really just kind of dabbling my fingers in everything. Pause, obviously. Like I do, the production side of thing. I do the engineering side of thing. I'm always an MC first and foremost, and a lover of hip hop. A little bit of graphic design. Like I just really want to be able to help steer people in the right direction in a way. Like I want my presence and what I'm doing to almost be a catalyst for people to be like, "Oh, okay, like maybe I can do this too." Hey, I appreciate you checking in, man. Thank you for
Yeah, for
coming in and
sure.
kicking it with me. It's dope.
For sure. For sure.
But yeah, man, I'd really
So,
like, it's all motivation over here, man. It's all love. You know what it is. I mean, Jay Faith knows what
of
it is, obviously.
course, man. One
you
hundred
know,
percent. If there's
I've
anybody
been.
to attest to that, it's definitely me.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, well, yeah, I love rocking with you, man. Like that's the thing is like that's another reason why I really don't mind like when you put that post out and you were like, "Hey, I'm looking for a hype man." I was like, "All right," because like I love what you stand behind, as an artist. You know what I mean? So it's like, granted, we I feel like we have a similar message, but we just have different approaches in a way. You know what I mean about it? Like,
Yeah.
you motivationally try and touch on, relatable subjects, and I do a little bit as well. But I just feel like the approach is. I mean, we're different people, so obviously that's how it's going to be, and we're
Yeah.
both original. So how am I going to be you? How are you going to be me? This backwards stuff is really
Exactly.
screwing me up. but you know, but like that's really why I was like, yeah, man, I'm definitely down for this because like I I I agree 100% with your message as well, and I'm right there on board with it, whether it's a different way or not. So I was like, let's go. You know,
For sure. No, I appreciate that.
yeah, of course, man. I mean, yo, I'll tell you what though, those 41st Avenue. I know this isn't like a let's blow up J Faith in the moment type of thing, but yo, 41st Avenue, whole thing. Yo, shout out Life. I got the shirt on too right now. Uh,
Yeah, shout out life.
um, whole thing, fantastic, man. I'm glad you told me we were doing some of those sooner rather than later though. Cause like yo man, your flow
I I
on
knew
this
you
record
were
is
gonna say it too.
yo, your
I
flow on
was
this
like,
record
hang
is
on.
like off the chain compared to like previous J Faith projects, that I've heard personally. So I'm like, all right, and I'm digging it. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I'm like, wait, what did he just say though? Hold on, hold up. Let's all right. You know what I mean? But I mean, well, I'll have it down obviously. But
No, I got you.
yeah, man. No, I've been vibing though, man. So definitely, hey, check out 41st Avenue. Everybody that checks into this, anyways, because that's what it is. Like I said, I'm all about love out here. Um,
Absolutely.
and that's what it is, man. Making my own shirts. You know that, obviously. Like I said, I'm dabbling in everything. Um, I don't know. You got any more questions or anything, man? Anything like uh you
So
wanted to
what
cover?
I what I usually do before we wrap, I like to
Hmm,
put people in the hot seat one final time. Um, I hate that an hour goes by so quickly, but
it does, yeah.
because we could definitely continue for hours. But
Yeah, yeah.
one thing that I like to do, try to put people in the hot seat one final time, is what is the best advice that you've been given so far, and that could be life advice, that could be music advice. Just what is the one piece of advice that just really just sticks with you, motivates you, that you've received thus far?
Oh, you know, I don't know if this covers it or not. I hope so. So I've had two people say this to me in my life. I've been performing, consistently for what, 2-ish years now. So I've done
About
quite the
there.
few shows. Probably 30, 40 plus shows, something like that. I don't really. I think last year was like 20 something. I'm not sure. Um, but I've had a couple people say to me because I still get butterflies, man. I still get nervous a lot of the time before I get on stage. To keep it honest, yeah, and like I'll express this to some people sometimes. When it's like really bad, I'm like, whew, I'm like having an anxiety attack. You know what I mean, or something. And what these two people have said to me actually, it was DJ Clashes Clay from
Word.
Manchester, New Hampshire, and Lone from New York, who I had actually just met
Yep.
over this past week personally. And they had both said, that means you're here for the right reasons. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Hmm.
all right. And both times that like I was told that, it just like, you know what I mean? So to me, I think that's really probably the closest I could get off the top of my head in the hot seat right now. Right now,
It
just
shows you
just
care.
yeah, exactly. Like, because if they said if you're, if you don't have butterflies, if you're not nervous, then like you're probably too full of yourself. Would be my guess. And like
Hmm.
you said, you don't care. Like you're just gonna go up and do it, and it is what it is. Which I mean, that's what we do anyways, regardless. Because once you get those first two words out, it's just shuts off for
Yeah.
some reason. But like it's up until that point. You know what I mean? Like,
Bet.
yeah,
100%.
so, but yeah, man, it's just so those words right there, man, just having people. I don't know how long Lone has been doing music for exactly, but I know a lot of people rock with him, and I know DJ Clashes Clay has been doing music for a while. He's done work with Acrobatic and stuff, so you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Um, so to hear it from both of them kind of just really resonated because like Glacius Clay has seen people come and go, you know what I mean? So for him to
Hmm.
have some type of advice like that to little old me, like at my album release party, you know what I mean, is just like, okay, maybe I am going the right way. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not wasting my time right now, you know, because
Definitely, definitely.
a lot of artists, you know, I feel like struggle with that. Should I keep going? You know, Lone is
Yeah.
definitely the homie. I've been told that Lone and I are brothers, and we didn't know it. Uh, it's a thing. So actually, funny story, real quick. I'm sorry. I did a show with Lone last week at the Jungle in Somerville, right? I
Yeah,
believe
yeah, yeah.
so. Yeah, and so he posted a video of me performing live, right? And his family's commenting on it, telling him good job, and they were proud of him. And he's like, yo, mind you, this was like 10 minutes after Greatness had just stopped the whole show because he was the host and was like, yo, Lone, get over here. And had us stand next to each other and was like, and these two aren't brothers. And then his family said that. And then we did another show together that following Saturday. And
Hmm.
T Fry came in and mentioned it again. I'm like, yo, I'm like, are we brothers?
Right.
Like,
Is this the
now
thing?
I'm wondering, man. So you know, so that was cool, man. But he's definitely a dope dude for sure. I'm super glad I met him because, like I said, that was one of the that was one of the you know one of the that's one of the best pieces of advice I had ever gotten from somebody. And then he said it again, and I was like, all right, man, that's
That's it.
you know what I mean, like you're in now. That's it. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you
Now
know,
that's dope, man.
yeah, dude. I don't know. It's a good
Appreciate
time.
the
I love
wise.
this music thing, man. I love this. Yo, thanks
Yeah,
for tuning in, Red X. I appreciate you, man. He's been right up in here.
100%.
I love it, man. That's dope. Shout out Red
Yeah,
X
shit.
Lion. Go
Facts.
check out Red X Lion. I mean, I'm not podcast friendly, y'all. My bad.
It's all good, man. It's
Yeah.
all good. Now
Yeah.
we appreciate Red X. We appreciate having you here on this show. As I said, an hour goes by way too quickly. We'll definitely have to
Right.
have you on again
Yeah,
to
I'm down.
continue this conversation. Is there any final where can people connect with you? I know you have
Oh,
your own kind of thing, so shout out, where people can connect
yeah.
with you, chat with you.
So I am, like I said, J Face, hype man. But you know, if you didn't gather, I'm also a solo artist. So you can find me at moflow603. Says it over here. It's the same thing on everything, I believe. So Facebook, my Facebook page, my Instagram page, my TikTok, which is weird to say for me now, but and I'm trying to build that up a little bit. So definitely follow me on TikTok. Um, you know, and then from there, everything else, you know, the links in the bio on all the pages and this and that, you know, find me on Spotify, all of that good stuff that you hear from everybody, I'm sure. You know what I
You
mean?
got
But
Sunday
definitely,
shout outs.
oh yeah, that's right. See, I'm still getting used to that, man. So Sunday shout outs is actually a new little podcast thing I've been doing, I guess. I don't know, webisode maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, where I shout out new artists every week, a little bit of what they're doing and everything like that. So definitely any artists that hear this that want to be a part of that, go check out Sunday shout outs. And that's was it at Sunday underscore shout underscore outs on Facebook and Instagram as well. Yeah. And I appreciate everybody for checking this out. And thank you for having me, man. I'll definitely come back whenever you need me to, you know, or you got some more hot
Absolutely.
seat questions. That's something you should start doing, man. You should start doing like a hot
Hot
seat.
seat.
Like just be like, hey, come on, I'm gonna ask you 10 questions. Don't tell them what the
Mm,
questions are though. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
just when they get on, boom, 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 boom. All right, peace. You know what I mean? I don't know, just an idea, man.
I got you.
That's how it's going, man. All right, bro.
Appreciate it, man. But
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate you, man. One last time. Shout out to Red X Line for tuning in. If
Yeah.
anybody's tuning in later on, we appreciate you listening and checking this out. Again, make sure that you check us out on all social media platforms as well as Apple Music. And see, I'm even getting used to it. Apple Music, SoundCloud, Spotify. We're officially on there now. Right Mind Wednesdays
Both, man.
podcast.
Yeah. I'll definitely.
Appreciate
So I'm gonna be
everybody.
following that on Spotify myself now, man. I'm excited. Hell yeah.
Word
You
up,
already
word
know,
up.
man.
Definitely. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. But until next time, my name is Jay Faith. This is MoFlow. This is Right
Hey.
Mind
Oh.
Wednesdays. We're out of here. Peace.
Peace.
What's up?